Now let's get going with So Hyang and 1 Million Roses. There's a bit of a background to this song because it's quite diverse and people don't realize that this cover song that So Hyang did was so different from the original and so different from when it was first performed in Korea and made famous by Sim Soo Bong. But believe it or not, it was a Latvian song. It started out as a Latvian song and it was performed at the 1981 Mikrofona song contest with a performer called Liga Kreska. The song was in English, Dear Mara Gave the Girl Life. And then it became a hit in the Soviet Union and covered by many artists, most famously by Alla Pugevka. Now, the original performer went on to win in 1993 the Grand Music Award for her performance of the song because it became so popular in Latvia and Russia and we'd say the Eastern Bloc. But when we come back to Korea, we have Sim Soo Bong who gave her interpretation of A Million Roses. Now, that was around 2003. I think the first performance of it was 1997. So it would all tie in very well with the original song performances, the popularity, and then Sim Soo Bong decided to do her interpretation of it and perform it. And now we have, and this is what we're going to listen to today, everybody. We're going to listen to So Hyang's version of the same song that has changed twice, and now it's changed a third time with 1 Million Roses and a very different version that she gives on Immortal Songs 2. Now, So Hyang is one of those singers that is so famous in Korea. She's known as being the Mariah Carey of South Korean music industry. She's a gospel singer. She says she wants her voice to touch souls, and she certainly will with this performance. And it's kind of upbeat for So Hyang as well, and very modern take on an old Latvian song that became a very big hit in Latvia and Russia, went on to be covered by Sim Soo Bong, who's very famous in South Korea. And then you have the wonderful singer So Hyang, who gives her interpretation of it, a more upbeat, a more modern twist on it, a more Mariah Carey vocal twist on it. But I have the original lyrics by Sim Soo Bong in front of me. And after we've heard So Hyang's up-tempo version on Immortal Songs of this incredibly popular song, what I'm going to do is then give you the breakdown of the original lyrics, because So Hyang doesn't sing all of them in this performance, but it's such a beautiful song, and this is such a powerful performance that I decided to do two things here. Firstly, I've given you this video of roses, all about roses. You'll see pictorials of roses blooming. I've covered myself in the love hearts because it is a song of the heart. And we're going to hear So Hyang's audio voice in the background as we watch the video. So you have something to look at. Your ears are going to listen to So Hyang. We're going to mix it. And then afterwards, I'm going to give you my interpretation of the lyrics. There is a little history to Sim Soo Bong that I found out, that she was one of the witnesses of the 1979 assassination of South Korean President Park Chung-hee. And Park was a fan of Sim, and Sim had performed for the former president before the assassination. Now, in 2012, in an interview, Sim admitted that after the assassination, she'd been incarcerated and imprisoned, and then held in a mental institution for nearly a month before she was released. She was banned from TV and radio until 1981 and was kept under observation for many years. So when it came to the first performance of 1 Million Roses, I believe it was around 1997, then it became part of her hymn collection of songs in 2003. We have an update now of the song, but it's this version that, in honor of Sim Subong, we are dedicating 1 Million Roses to you for the hardship that you suffered. So Yang, take it away. Let's listen.
사랑을 주고 하는 작은 음성 하나 들었지. 사랑을 할 때만 피는 꽃 백만송이 피워오라는 진실한 사랑할 때만 피어나는 사랑의 장미. 묘하는 맘 없이 아낌없이 사랑을 주기만 할 백만송이 꽃은 비가 그립고 아름다운 내 별나라로 갈 수 있다면 아낌없이 사랑을 주기만 할 백만송이 꽃은 피고 그립고 아름다운 내 별나라와
Now, everybody, that was A Million Roses by the incredible and articulate So Hyang. Did you enjoy it? I hope you did, because it's a song that took its inspiration from the original. And you see how it's changed, because it was the Immortal show. So it was an up-tempo, you extract from a very famous song and you make it a new song, a new version, a new sound. And that's what So Hyang has done with 1 Million Roses. And I loved it. I loved her vocal performance, because she is the Mariah Carey of her own country. And I can see why. We go into the original, believe it or not, lyrics of Sim Su Bong's song, because we just hear So Hyang singing A Million Roses, Million of Roses. But I think it's nice to come back to where its inspiration and origins came from. And we go to, and remember that Sim Su Bong did a cover version of a Latvian song, because it was originally wrote 1 Million Roses. Sim Su Bong's version was originally a Latvian song that became very popular in Russia and then became very popular by Sim Su Bong in South Korea. And then you've got the modern version where So Hyang has extracted inspiration from the song, and it's just become the modern version that you've heard. And it's only the start of it is very similar to the original, but still we have the lyrics in front. And the lyrics, I'm just going to read them and then finish. A long time ago on a planet, when I was brought into this world, I heard a small voice telling me, give love. The flower that blooms only when you love. They told me to bloom 1 million roses. When you love me honestly, love's rose will bloom. Without a hateful heart, when you give love generously, hundreds, millions of roses, millions of flowers will bloom. And I'll be able to go back to my beautiful country that I long for. Without a hateful heart, when you give love generously, hundreds, millions of roses, millions of roses will bloom. And I'll be able to go back to my beautiful planet that I long for. What is an honest love? Tears of suffer fell. There are a lot of cold-hearted people, since the world is very sad. A lot of time flows. You will give all of your life. Like the light that appears suddenly, such a love, embrace me. Without a hateful heart, when you give love generously, hundreds of millions of roses will bloom, and I'll be able to go back to work to my beautiful country that I long for. Now everything will leave, but I will continue to love. That star came to find me. All that time was waiting for me. If you and me can be together, even more flowers will bloom. We will become one and go back to that star forever. Without a hateful heart, when you give love generously, hundreds and millions of roses will bloom, and I'll be able to go back to my beautiful country that I long for. And then it repeats, without a hateful heart, when you give love generously, hundreds of millions of roses will bloom. So it's very much with the original version, Sim Su Bong's version of her 1 Million Roses. You've got a situation where you can imagine, after being in prison, being in a mental institution, she has no hatred, she has only love to give. And when you give love, she always finds that a positive response comes back. She's not going to fill her life with hatred and upset from rejections and different things that's happened in her life. She's always going to remain positive. Her life is about positivity. It's like the rose that brings that beautiful smell that draws people in. The number one flower in the world is the rose, and she just embodies that, makes it a symbolism of what she's about. Equally, when So Hyang sings 1 Million Roses, she's also embodying what makes people be drawn to a situation, be drawn to a certain thing. And what she's saying is, love is like that. Give out love. It'll come back to you like 1 million roses. Don't carry negativity. Replace it with positive, replace it with love. And you will also be presented in life with a million roses to smell, adorn, and enjoy. Spread love, spread positivity is what 1 Million Roses is about, in my words. I've traced it back to Sim's song, I've traced it back to the original Latvian song, and I've hoped you enjoyed the mix mash of So Hyang's song and a very popular song, 1 Million Roses, and the history behind the two. Take care for now. Bye bye.